As interesting as it would be to see Catherine Applegate and Michael Grant take a stab at a book format they aren't familiar with, the Alternamorph books are indeed ghostwritten. And Alternamorphs #1, The First Journey, was ghostwritten by none other than Tanya Alicia Martin. I say none other like you should know who that is, but you probably should, because Martin is the most important person to Animorphs that nobody talks about. She's the editor of Animorphs. By all accounts, she's had some input into every book in the series. The credits for professional editors is a lot harder to track down than that of writers, but I've found her name attached to such wide range of books as Dreadful Sorry, South Beach, A Llama in the Family, and that young adult classic, Breaking the Glass Ceiling, Racism and Sexism in Corporate America, The Myths, the Realities, and the Solutions. None of those credits are for Choose Your Own Adventure books, but again, it's not like I have a complete list of the products she's worked on. A lot of her work for Animorphs is undocumented, though it seems she had a significant hand in selecting ghostwriters. So once again, we find ourselves at the door of speculation. So let's ask a few questions and see what bullshit answers we can pull out of thin air. First off, why was Tanya Alicia Martin given this project? Unless she uses an unknown pen name, Martin hasn't actually written any books herself. Of course, being an editor gives more skill in this regard than you would have just, having no writing ability whatsoever, but it is very possible to be a very effective editor and a shitty author. But Martin may not be a shitty author, this might just be an incredibly poor representation of her work. If we assume that Martin does have much inclination towards writing, then why wasn't this project given to another ghostwriter? Maybe somebody with gamebook experience. I would suggest there's a chance, a possibility, that this first Alternamorphs book was very rushed by Scholastic. It's not really an Animorphs book. It's very clearly a piece of merchandising. The most marketed Animorphs has felt since Megamorphs 2 and its collectible covers. Maybe Scholastic was all, hey, we need a Choose Your Own Adventure Animorphs book in 3 weeks. Let's go, let's go, let's go! And Martin couldn't find anyone with a free schedule, so she slapped this together last minute. Or, that's not at all what happened. I don't know. You guys realize this is how history's put together, right? We take the tiniest slivers of information and come up with motivations and theories that try to bind them together in some kind of narrative. I mean, this book is barely 15 years old. Everyone involved is still alive. And yet the best I can do is pull this fantasy out of my ass. Imagine what people trying to figure out the Roman Empire have to do. There's just nothing solid to glean from any of this. And since the Alternamorph books are such disposable entertainment, it's hard to actually care that much. For the record, the ghostwriter for Alternamorphs #2, The Next Passage, is Emily Costello. But we'll talk about her when she shows up in the regular series. This path was kind of a putter. If you think we should look at the second Alternamorphs book, click, oh no, the Yeti!